Thank you for tuning in to day one of the 17 days of sustainability. We hope you enjoyed today's broadcast and are excited for the days to come. Today you heard opening remarks from Microsoft's VP of AI and Sustainability Strategy, Gretchen O'Hara.
Microsoft recently announced our new goal, a new plan to reduce and ultimately remove Microsoft's carbon footprint by 2030. And by 2050, remove the environmental of all the carbon the company has emitted either directly or by electrical consumption since it was founded in 1975. We plan to aggressively cut our carbon emissions by more than half in 2030, both in our direct emissions and for our entire supply chain and value chain. By 2025, we will shift to 100% supply of renewable energy, meaning that we will have purchase agreements for green energy contracted for 100% of carbon emitting electricity consumed by all of our data centers, our buildings, and campuses. We will pursue International Living Future Institute Zero Carbon certification and the LEED Platinum certification for our Silicon Valley campus and Puget Sound campus, our modernization projects, and we will shift the data centers that we have designed for a diesel-free backup power supply. Starting with corporate headquarters, we will electrify our global campus operations and vehicle fleet by 2030. We've established a $1 billion innovation fund that will invest in companies and startups around the globe to focus on negative emission technologies, or NET. And lastly, our sustainability commitment is a call to action for all Microsoft teams to think about how each person and each organization internally puts sustainability at the center of our engagements with our key stakeholders. That's including our customers, our partners, and our suppliers.
Nancy Youssef from Souls for Souls with Connie Hugh from Third Love followed Gretchen today. Souls for Souls turns unwanted shoes and clothing into opportunity by keeping them from going to waste and putting them to good use, providing relief, creating jobs, and empowering people to break the cycle of poverty. Third Love is an e-commerce company building bras and underwear for everybody. Third Love is a company that Forbes recently named as the next billion-dollar startup.
So Souls for Souls is fortunate enough to be able to help in almost every country across the globe. We have regional distribution centers across the world. So Singapore, the Netherlands, Toronto, Canada, and of course here in the United States. When you look at Third Love and your operations, and if you have suggestions for people who have either just domestic or global operations, where do they start to focus? Is it really in their localized community, or do they look at trying to help all over the world? I mean, not everybody can tackle everything, but how can we start to support these goals?
Absolutely. I think that there's really no limit, especially with some of the brands similar to Third Love or some of our peers, where the goal that we have is truly global. There's no borders, there's no boundaries in that way. So I actually think we should work backwards from where do we think we can have the largest impact today? And I think that's through the conduit of these types of partnerships. And so I think it's just really important to make sure that you have a program and a delivery mechanism in place and working backwards from that. And then over time, it will just naturally grow itself.
Absolutely. One of the things that's amazing to me is over your personal and professional journey so far, you have, really had a robust background and such an interesting evolution to how you ended up at Third Love. There were obviously many challenges that you faced along the way, and challenges specifically at trying to support sustainable development goals.
At 12 p.m. noon today, you heard from Atul Tandon, CEO of Opportunity International. Opportunity International serves small-scale entrepreneurs in 22 countries around the world. They provide the opportunity for transformation through access to loans, savings, insurance, and training.
At the very beginning, what are the most significant challenges you see for the extremely poor, that face the extremely poor? You've got generational poverty that doesn't seem to stop. It carries on. You've got the whole issue of money lenders. You've got health. You've got water. You have, most of these people are our clients, if you will, illiterate and unskilled. So talk a bit about what are some of the most significant challenges that you see facing these families as they seek to build better lives?
So Atul, I think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about that aspect of generational poverty, and you find families, in particular in Africa, being faced with poverty, and they need to put bread on the table for their families. And sometimes it is a toss between, do I put bread on the table, or do I send my children to school? Do I marry off my young girl children so that I can get money to feed the rest of the family? Those are the kind of challenges that you see. Sometimes it does involve money lenders to say, let me go and borrow money so that I can put bread on the table. But this is at extortionate rates. In fact, in Africa, we call them Shylocks, and they really fleece the poor. You have the challenges of healthcare, and that healthcare is also accompanied by nutrition may not always be good and balanced, but there's also hygiene situations. Water and sanitation sometimes is a big challenge too. And jobs, people need jobs, and they're not always available. And sometimes people will till the land, but they're not necessarily doing it to the best that land can yield. So they have all these challenges. And then the biggest one is that everyone wants to send their children to school so that they can break that generational poverty, but they're stuck in terms of choices. Where do we take the little resources that we have? Do we put them into education, or do we put them into feeding or trying to generate a livelihood?
To wrap up the day, we had a youth panel from Ideagen's Future Global Leaders Academy, led by Gretchen O'Hara, as they discussed their solution to no poverty. If you didn't have a chance to catch these broadcasts live, we will now be rebroadcasting them, with Nancy Youssef and Connie Hugh at 2:15 today, Atul Tandon from Opportunity International at 3, and our Future Global Leaders Academy at 4. Tomorrow, day 2 of the 17 Days of Sustainability, we have an amazing lineup of speakers for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 2, Zero Hunger. Starting at 10 a.m., Gretchen O'Hara will give opening remarks and describe exactly what Goal 2 is. From there, we will jump into a discussion from Christina Shapiro, the president of the Impact Fund for Children at UNICEF USA. Starting at 11 a.m., Carrie Armbruster, Zero Hunger, Zero Waste project manager at Kroger, will discuss how Kroger is addressing SDG goal number 2. At noon, we will see Andrew Zeppa, partner at Gallup's London office, deliver a powerful discussion on Gallup's participation to eradicate hunger and malnourishment. Lastly, to wrap up the day, we will hear from Luke Nyazi, IBM's Global Managing Director of Consumer Industries, as he talks with Stefan Fernson, Senior Vice President, Crop and Digital Solutions at Yara International. We would like to take the time to thank all the participants for day 1 and cannot wait to hear the insights of our day 2 speakers. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment on what goal appeals to you and which insights you found most interesting. At Ideagen, we have hosted summits around the world for the past decade with global leaders and luminaries. We have heard their insights and how their organizations have made huge impact on a global scale. Now you have the opportunity to join us and get an inside look at their journeys at these global leaders with Ideagen's new masterclass. Ideagen's masterclass provides an unprecedented and never before seen look into the lives and stories of the world's most influential leaders. You may be familiar with their accomplishments and successes of many of these leaders from their time spent on a global stage. But do you know how they arrived to where they are today, the challenges they faced, and the obstacles they overcame? Ideagen's masterclass will give you a backstage pass to their life and journey, an up-close and personal look at global leaders and luminaries, including former Ambassador John Negroponte, the first Director of National Intelligence, Robert Rees, founder of the CEO Forum, Dr. Robert Brown, former advisor to Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela, plus many more. Be inspired as Ideagen interviews global leaders and luminaries on their impact and join our masterclass to discover their journey to success. Visit our website, ideagenglobal.com, and follow the tab to our masterclass to get more information and subscribe today. For the next 17 days, you will hear some of the world's largest organizations and how they are addressing the Sustainable Development Goals. If you're looking to learn more about the Sustainable Development Goals, Ideagen has developed the Global Leaders Academy. You will learn all 17 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals from global leaders who are invested in seeing the global goals achieved by 2030. You will learn to lead through solution and design thinking with instructors from Microsoft, the United Nations, and more.
Consider this. In the time since I've been alive, the human population has almost doubled. Our species now uses more than 70% of all land on Earth to provide our food, our fiber, our water, minerals, and our energy. And these activities are fundamentally transforming the natural systems we all depend on. Species are going extinct tens to hundreds of times faster than they have before. And we're changing our climate systems in ways that could have catastrophic impacts.
So how do we begin to address these issues? Come together as a planet and within our societies to begin to reverse this cycle. What is the world's best plan to end poverty, to reduce inequalities, or to tackle climate change? It is the Sustainable Development Goals.
The SDGs are all interconnected, and that indeed our member states were very clear that they don't want us to prioritize one SDG over the other.
So what exactly are the Sustainable Development Goals? What issues do they address, and how do you get involved to spread awareness and begin to reverse this catastrophic cycle? Ideagen has developed the Global Leaders Academy, 17 classes in the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, with instructors from Microsoft, the United Nations, and across multiple industries. Learn how to lead through solution and design thinking, all at your own pace. There's over 5 hours worth of original content to help bring out the global leaders within all of us. To have a better future, we must be a part of building it. This course will give you the foundation to spread awareness, begin to address the goals, and help the world move forward in a sustainable manner. Visit ideagenglobal.com and follow the tab to our Global Leaders Academy section. The first 3 classes are completely free and allow you to understand how essential this course and these goals are. From there, you're able to sign up and receive a certificate upon completion with the chance to be highlighted on our global network.
I want to turn to goal 6 now, the clean water and sanitation.
How you can become engaged in the UN Sustainable Development Goals and be a part of changing the world. So let's dive right into the 3 goals that are really important to me.
Global Leaders Academy. We are now covering goal number 8 of the Sustainable Development Goals, decent work and economic growth.
We are trying to make the world more sustainable for current and future generations. Will you join us in our efforts? Sign up today and begin to be a part of the global movement.